hero of my cake. Independent leader made a way. I'm the people's voice, hip hip parade. Stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race. There's trophies on trophies, views from the townscape. Change is great, break, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate. Chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a featherweight. Man,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
Of course, I'm Ron.
And we are back for another recap. This time we are doing BMF, the season finale, titled Prime Time. And if you haven't already, before we get into the discussion, we want you to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and click that thumbs up button. All of those things help support our channel, and it keeps you cued into everything that we have up our sleeve, because when I tell you we got a good one on the way, y'all might love this new interview that we're going to have dropping very soon. So be on the lookout for that. It's with a very special set of guests. So be ready for that. Now that we got the housekeeping out the way, we want to go ahead and talk about this finale. We got the season finale of BMF. I thought it was a really good finale to finish off on, left us on a little cliffhanger. What did you guys think?
Cliffhanger is about right. I was hanging a bit, but I thought it was overall was pretty good. I'm not sure if I was completely satisfied with Henri's situation. You know, I wasn't expecting Blaze to go out in a blaze with bullets, but you know, I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping the opposite would happen. But
Go ahead.
I have a comment about that too, but I'll say
I do too. I think he considered that. That was an option. I know we said that he was either going to have to take her out,
right.
But in one of our recaps, we did touch on the possibility of her doing it to him, because there was so much built up animosity. Like when you go back to that, to one of the recaps when she was throwing darts at his picture and stuff.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was in the back of my mind, if he didn't do it, that she could possibly do it, since he was rejecting her.
Yeah. But the dude that was with him, was he muscle or was he just a string? Because I mean, he didn't have a gun with him or anything like that. I'm thinking that when he came in, that was part of his muscle, and that at least, I mean, think about it. If he had a gun, he had plenty of time to take her out, because she had pointed it at him and there was some discussion, but apparently he didn't have a gun. So
I thought he was family too, because remember when he, when she got in trouble with the Chaldeans and didn't have the money, he was the one that came and gave Henri the money. And then she was like, thanks, Unc. So when she said that, I was like, is he the father of Tyson and all of that? I was like, I got the sense, and I know we all call, not we all, but some of us call, family folks who are not even family. I know I do that too. So maybe it was just a form of expression, but I thought he was family.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot this episode. So in case you're not cued into what we're talking about, this is the big scene with Henri. We know, like you said, this had been building up. Of course, Terry returns back to Detroit upon hearing the news about Hoop, and we were wondering if Hoop was gonna make it, and turns out he did. So thank goodness, because he's a character that a lot of people like, and he's very essential to Terry and Meech's organization. So good thing he made it through, but Terry was on a get back mission, and he wanted Henri bad. So this is to the point where we got Terry talking about killing people. He wasn't really on that type of time. Him and Meech were both about doing things peacefully as possible. And now you got Terry talking about shooting people up. So, you know that it was serious to him at that point. And Henri, of course, in a rage, ends up shooting her own father. Which that's where the scene that you guys are talking about, where she's kind of being advised to tone that, like, come on, the guy's trying to talk her off the ledge. I don't know if that's a real uncle or pretend uncle, but he's trying to talk her down. But Henri's father said that one last statement that took him out. It was no comeback after that. And I was like, you know, Henri is very erratic. And for somebody that is that erratic and that spontaneous, like she's kind of just like in the moment. It's like act now, think about it later. You don't say stuff like that to somebody that's in that type of mind state.
And you would think that he knew better. I know it's his daughter. You wouldn't expect your daughter to put 4 bullet holes in you, but you know, I just thought, you know what type of person she is, and you know what she's capable of. So to go there and really ridicule her the way he did, I really can't imagine what else he expected her to do. I mean, he called her Henrietta. She said, "Call me Henri," and he had, you know, he wasn't about to stoop like that. So, what are you about to say?
You got something, Tiff?
I was waiting till you finish. The one thing that he said that really took her over the edge is something that she had already said to Jen, that she said that her father blamed her for the mother's death during childbirth and stuff. And he said to her, like, you brought nothing but death, and this he started with your mother. So he confirmed what she believed, or you know, she said that this is why he hated her and why he never measured up. And so for her to hear that out loud, I knew, I was like, up, he's done.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting though, because of course, Detective Jen, now I was worried for her when she went to Kobe's father, and she was thinking that she would have somebody that would be an alliance to her, unbeknownst to the fact that Kobe's dad is actually on the payroll of Henri and her team. So it's like, oh my goodness, the corruption goes deep. And of course, you know, when it comes down to it, that little the bug that Detective Jen planted, that was really her only saving grace, because once Henri found out, she was ready to kill Jen, but they decided to still kind of pursue the case, because, you know, Detective Bryant, he was like, you know, as long as you didn't reveal that you planted the bug, we can still do this thing. It was I think that was like the one thing that kind of, I think, Ron, what you were alluding to, it was disappointing to see Henri go to jail and kind of go out that way versus Terry actually getting his get back. It would have been way more exciting.
Y'all, Terry did get his get back.
Well, he did, but he didn't do it directly. And that's what it's not the same when you send somebody in jail to go and
but think about the conversation that Sterl said to him, because T was so anxious to be the one. He said it's better to live in the shadows and they won't see you coming. And he was like, So when he said that, you can see that T embraced that, and now he knows that's how he gonna move. He gonna be hands off from here on out.
But he did. But I'm just saying, for TV value, it wasn't as exciting.
Exactly. And what I was thinking, you know, we know how it ended, but what I was thinking was, okay, Jen, you weren't on the force. You planted an illegal bug. If this ever went to trial, it could all be thrown out because everything you did was illegal. And so you had no cause to do what you did. And that's what I was thinking to myself. I'm like, wow, if this goes to trial, it can literally be thrown out for all the mishaps that you did along the way. Now, fortunately, we know what happens to her while she's in jail. And I don't even know if that's the end. I mean, she only hit her once and she could survive it. So here we go. It's a nice setup for the coming season, because another cliffhanger, we really don't know what's going to happen with her.
You know, it's kind of giving me flashbacks of Force when Claudia got stabbed up in jail. And so it's like, everybody's like, did she make it? Did she make it? You know? So it kind of reminded me of that.
And the same with Hoop.
Thought the same.
And the same with Hoop, because
Hoop too. Yeah.
Hoop took several bullets to the stomach, chest, whatever. And, you know, we all but thought he would, you know, not make it for the finale, but there he is up in, you know, in the hospital, feeling fine, chasing women, and as much as he could.
Listen, I was hoping Hoop would make it, though. I like Hoop.
Yeah. He's one of the fan favorites, so I'm glad.
I was glad he made it. But the thing is, like, to Ron's point about the bug and all this stuff, and it may not make it, I think they're going to be fine because they brought down so many people. Because as Jen said, when she was talking to Bryant, like when they did that press conference, it said an acting police chief. So the police chief went. So the ties to Blaze, they probably did their due diligence and followed the money and all that stuff. So the bug may not, but it probably opened the door for all this other evidence. And especially with the congressmen and all this stuff, and who knows, some of them people probably singing, some of them people probably confessing and everything else. So,
and I'm sure Blaze probably could care less. I mean, I think, well, he's dead. Well, I guess he's dead. We don't know yet. They have a funny way of reviving folks. So, it looks like he's dead, but let's just say the organization.
They aired him out because they were getting ready to put him in the.
Yeah, that's right. They did put him in a body bag. They did wrap him up. So yeah, he's dead. But I think the organization probably could care less. They wouldn't have any kind of rebuttal against whether or not it was legal or not. They're probably glad that she's been put away. But the legal system.
Yeah, so I mean that part of it, I think that was a good part, like a little twist that I wasn't expecting in this episode. And then like if we look at the flip side of it, what's that?
Who do you think called the hit to Henri in jail? Who do you think did it?
Terry.
That's the whole discussion that me and Tiara said.
Well, I'm saying okay. Well, Terry did say he what?
He wanted to be in the shadows instead of being the front man to go and do the dirty work himself.
Because I'm thinking, could it have been Blaze, one of Blaze's organizations?
No, it was T.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm thinking, no, wouldn't it be nice for that organization to say, okay, you took out Blaze, we're gonna take you out. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, right. Okay, let it look.
No, because it was. Go ahead.
Because I thought the young lady that took her out, I've seen before. I don't know if maybe I don't know, maybe seen her someplace else, but
maybe she's related to the Chaldeans because she did kill Peaches.
Yeah, she looks.
She did kill Peaches, so she could have been, and T could have told them like she's the one that killed Peaches, and then he indirectly did it. But I think he really wanted it done because especially Hoop was saying like make sure you take get her from me, and also Meecha said take that B down, and he always had been trying to compete with Meech and stuff, and he was dissatisfied when he came on the scene and saw her getting locked up. He was like, because he wanted to take her out, and so he thought he was denied of that, and that's when Sterl made that comment about it's better to be in the shadows because they don't see you coming. I think he was like, this is even sweeter because I'm a getter. And I'm gonna be the one to call the shots.
She only got shanked. She only got shanked once, so we'll see if she, if she survives. I have a feeling she will.
We'll see.
She's just too much of a villain to let go right now. I honestly, I would like to see her in the next. I really would, because I really like to see her get her comeuppance the way it should.
I thought she did a good job. As a villain, and and you do need antagonists and stuff, so we'll see. But looking online, there was some people, that did not really care for her character and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
But you got that. But I mean, when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of the episode, she makes some good commentary. I mean, what can we say?
She did her job. She did a good job. Yeah. She was a good villain. And
some people say that's the mark of good acting is if you can make the audience hate you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if you were to meet, them, Ren King who plays Henri,
they're completely
quite the opposite. Yeah. Real cool people, real cool. So I mean, she did a great job.
Yeah. And so I want to take things down to Atlanta now and talk about Meech's problems in Atlanta, because it's much of a similar thing that, he has going on, where he discovers that Remy has stolen his fleet of vehicles. And of course, they can't get into it. They don't know that they can't get into it, but that's not going to stop Remy from going and trying anyways. And Remy also has a loyalty issue yet again, because here we are and Meech is now recruiting his crew again. Like, look, we just got to prove that what we got is way better, is way purer. And on top of that, we got this fleet of vehicles that the Red Dogs can't even detect. So if that don't turn heads, I don't know what will.
Well, it did.
And sure enough, they turned over.
It did.
And even to the point where Remy rolls up, they actually went to the neighborhood and got everybody to flip on Remy. Remy pulled up in his own spot and getting guns pointed at him.
But remember, I asked that question when we did the interview, what do you do? Right. Because you have to, I said to Jason, there's a lot of work you got to put in, to get back that community as well as your organization, because no one's going to ride with him after what happened in Techwood.
Mm-hmm.
And what's a better pitch than Meech saying, listen, we all gonna eat, ain't gonna be no infighting with all of us. Like, that sounds like a dream job to me. So we all eat, no infighting, no drama and stuff. And whereas Remy wants to carry on the beef. They're like, forget that, we ain't trying to beef, we're trying to get money.
Exactly.
We're talking about a dream drug job. So
right.
Hey.
And it checks out too. When they get pulled over, cops are searching them left and right and nothing is being found. Yeah. It's like, this is one thing where it's like, it's not too good to be true. At least not yet.
Exactly.
So, it was interesting to see how things ended for Remy though, because I was not expecting this. I thought that they would leave him to kind of try to get some get back at the end, like towards the beginning of next season.
What caught me was some dude selling water in the dark at night, walks up to the car and sells him a bottle of water. I said to my wife, I said, oh, this don't look good. Why not?
No,
yeah.
When I was watching it, I was like, when he said, y'all ain't seen the last of me, and I was like, he gotta go.
Gotta go.
When I was watching myself, I said he gotta go. I said, because he's always gonna be a problem and a thorn. And the one thing that Meech also promised was that after they square everything away, he already said they were gonna circle back on Remy.
Right.
Because of time. Because you saw that he was at Ty's graves, what's it called?
Gravesite.
The headstone. Was at his headstone, his gravesite. And he was pretty much promising him he was going to take care of his family. So that let me know right then. I was like, oh, Meech had the crew circle back on Remy.
Look, I knew it was going to happen at some point. I just didn't think it was going to happen in the same episode. I'm like, good God, can we at least let them try?
Too much.
But goodness, R.I.P. to Remy, and Jason Lauder did a phenomenal job on the show. So big ups to him. If you have not watched the interview that we did with Jason Lauder, the roundtable was amazing. Make sure you go to our interviews playlist and check out that interview. But man, I didn't think that was gonna happen so fast.
it was just very
so. Yeah, and so here we have it. Terry has taken care of Henri in Detroit, and Meech is taking care of Remy down in Atlanta. And it's like, okay, so they, like you said, you got to have a good antagonist, but it seemed like all of their antagonists are dead, or, we think they dead. So it's like, I don't know what happened with Henri, if she's going to make it or not. I don't know what happened with old boy from the M5 crew.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to Block. Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, Block.
Yeah, we don't know.
Block. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm pretty sure he died, but we don't know. It hasn't been his crew.
So they could seek revenge. And also, we got to think Brian is still antagonist, because when Jen said to him, like she said, I'm going to ladder out and go to LA. And he said, I'll probably head down south. So that lets you know he's going to Atlanta. He's going to pull up on Meech and be a thorn in his side in Atlanta. Watch.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking competition wise. It's kind of seeming like they doing a whole East Coast takeover. And it don't seem like they really got nobody in their path at this point in time. They done took everybody out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a family, and you saw the family uniting from the different cities and stuff. Like they had dude from Remy's dude, what's his name, Spark or something, him. But they had the Wire crew reunited. I'm a diehard Wire fan. So when I saw, dude from Cleveland, he was Poot on the Wire, and dude from St. Louis, he was Bodie from the Wire, and they were boys in the Wire. So it was cool to have them like side by side. And I was like, okay, Wire fans gonna see that call back. That was a good look.
Yeah, and that was cute. But it's like, it seems like everything is good now until I was like looking at the episode. I'm like, it's still about 15 more minutes left in this episode. Everything can't be all good. So, then we see towards the end that Meech gets the call from Loco down in Mexico that he didn't get locked up, and now Meech is being summoned. Or actually, he actually kind of felt like volunteered, because he's like, that's family. We ride for family. And if he's locked up, then that dries up our work.
Well, let's before we go there, let's talk about my girl Lucille.
So Meech is all down there. Yeah. And so that's what we see them doing there in the desert.
Yeah.
Did you have something, Ron?
Yeah, my girl Lucille
I was great to say.
And Dr. Reese. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna get to them for sure.
Something was up with good old Doc.
Dr. Feelgood. You said that, right?
Oh, well. So
I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
Well, I guess the biggest question is, did Lucille make a mistake? In other words,
I think I said, I was gonna say, I think I said last episode that maybe the grass is looking a little greener than it actually is for Lucille.
Right.
And I think that she was just moving a little bit too hasty. I think she made a rush decision before she really got a chance to vet this man out, because he looked good on paper. And it seemed like everything was lining up, but you really don't know this man. It's been some years since y'all reconnected. And so I think she made a very hasty decision. Hell, the ink wasn't even dry on the divorce papers yet. And she was in there getting down and dirty with the doctor.
Well,
one thing our son said we were watching, he was just like, well, the first clue, she hadn't even been to his house before. It doesn't seem like they're always meeting at they're going to restaurants, hotels, whatever. Yeah. You know where this man lives. Like, he's sending stuff to your house, but you ain't been to his house, which is true. And turned out that he had a whole fiance for 2 years. And I knew when she was, the look on his face when she started talking about a beginning for them, a relationship, and his face got all, I said,
And he talking about he don't want to start off with lies. Sir, you done already started off with lies. This is several dates in. And now you find it convenient to mention it after she's already gone through her divorce. Like, I thought that was very shady of him. Like, if Lucille was going to get a divorce, let it have been on her own terms. It was on her own terms, but based on her own understanding of the situation between her and the doctor. If she knew about his situation and still decided to move forward, that's one thing. But I feel like Lucille was also making her decision to get the divorce on the fact that she thought she was going to be beginning anew and having this kind of clean slate.
Well, let's go back a few episodes when Dr. Reese seemingly was in a rush to do things, and she kept saying, well, remember they were in the car, and she said, well, let's just take in the moment. Let's just be in the moment. That would have been a perfect time for him to come out with what he has, going on. I have a fiance. It's been 2 years, but I can't see myself walking down the aisle with her. That's what Lucille wanted from the beginning, just to take their time. And I think that if he were going to introduce that, it should have been right around that time.
Literally.
And maybe she would have been fine with it, because she really wasn't trying to rush divorce. It didn't seem like in that episode. So,
and it would have been fair game. It would have been fair game because Lucille already said that her attention was split between the two men, Charles and Dr. Feelgood, and she was letting Maurice, she was very straightforward with Maurice, that she had feelings for both men.
Exactly.
He could have opened up and said, I got a situation over here, and I also have divided attention, and I don't know where my heart is right now. He could have easily opened up and said that.
Absolutely.
But he waited to after he got the booty to tell her.
Exactly. That's
that's really suspect.
That's the worst time.
He deserves to be on our hands list.
He gets the hands. My goodness.
Look, you fellas out there, if you ever plan to do something, the worst time to spring that on a woman is after you got the booty.
And look, don't let Terry find out, because Dr. Feelgood gonna need a doctor.
Yeah, he may that. Or what do you call it? A morgue. He may be in the morgue quicker than he thinks. I don't know.
I mean, that was so distasteful of him.
It was.
But I did like that Lucille kind of let it be known to Charles, like, hey, things didn't work out with me and Maurice, but I still want time to work on myself. Because she could have easily went back and tried to fall into Charles' lap.
Well, I think
that it's best that she kind of stay to herself and work things out on her own for a second to figure out who she is again in this stage of her life.
I actually think that while she said that toward the end at dinner with Nicole, and he rushing out having to catch the bus, the look on her face was, hey,
yeah.
It told the story. Let me put it that way. I think she wants back in, and she's probably I think she needs time to figure out how it's going to happen.
We'll see, because she said she wanted to be friends for
now. That's what she
said. And she said the Heavenly Father is going to be her focus. And,
that Heavenly Father,
she took that position as the assistant pastor.
That Heavenly Father could have spoke to her a long time ago. Then I mean, but hey, we know, everybody's at fault here, but I just think that in the next episode, contrary to what we may know in reality, in the next episode, I think there's going to be
the next season. You mean?
I mean, the next season, I think there's going to be some working.
Well, to me, it seems like Charles was ready and willing to take her back. So it's not like she, had to try too hard if she really wants to pursue that avenue again.
Well, I think it's But I think it's part of her too. You can't rush back after doing what you did. You gotta put some time in there, because it would look very, very suspicious at the very least.
I mean, she was straightforward with Charles about what she said, what she did. He knew every time she was going on the date with Maurice. He knew that she had divided loyalties. She told him that she wanted to pursue things with this man. She even told him when things didn't work out. So that's why I think Lucille she's less in the wrong for me. At least she waited until she got the divorce, to go out with the other man and be intimate. Whereas Charles, we already know what he did. So I'm not trying to have a battle of who's righter and who's wronger, but I think Lucille was more conscious about her decisions.
Go ahead.
I feel like, while we heard Charles say that, we can tell that he still wanted her to go on tour, and that, his heart is still open to her. He going on tour for 6 weeks. Anything can happen on tour. He may meet somebody. So we might see next season, and she might be like Charles or whatever. He might come back and be like, you know what? Never mind. I met somebody that I'm interested in seeing where this goes. So the tables may turn.
Well, it may be for Lucille too, because she's pursuing this assistant pastor kind of position, and she seemed like she's all in on that, and that might take up some of her time too. She might feel like that's her calling, and maybe that might lead her down a different path too.
Well, do you think she would have been as hasty with the divorce had Dr. Reese not been in the picture?
No, I think she would have tried to work it out.
No, that's what I'm saying. You think that she would have tried to work out her marriage had Dr. Reese not been in the picture? And that's what I believe. I believe that it might have still ended at the same result. Like they might have still ended up getting divorced eventually, but I think she would have gave it a fighting chance, like more than what she did. Right.
Well, she was torn in the beginning because, like, in the very first episode, when she was thinking and he hugged her and she was like, I used to feel so safe in your arms and stuff. And so I think it was definitely a struggle too. She was already thinking about going in, and she was like, we still need to move forward with the divorce. So she was torn because she still loved a man and they have a future. But she said to Dr. Feelgood, she was like, I think we were over for a long time. She said, I think the
Yeah.
Mabel thing was the final straw.
Mm-hmm.
So, they probably were already heading in that direction anyway.
Yeah. And I did like that prayer that Nicole did with her at the dinner table. I was like, that was really good, probably for both of them, because it's a big change. Like a divorce is very hard hitting on a child that's Nicole's age. But she also was providing support for her. Like, she could see it in Lucille that her mom was, not at peace and that she was struggling with her decision. And so the prayer, I feel like, was really comforting to Lucille. And then Lucille also gets to see, like, oh my gosh, like, her words. You can see that Nicole is very mature. And she said, I'm like so proud of the young lady you're becoming. I think in that moment, she's seen her not as a child, but as the woman that she's growing into being. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but I think that marriages can overcome that sort of thing. If it would be different if he was just a habitual cheater. Every time she turns around, he's in the bed with another woman.
He showed a lot of remorse.
He did, and it seemed as though he was, as you said, very remorse behind it, and wanted to clean his act up. So, while I understand what Lucille felt, and I can understand that she felt that the marriage was no longer viable because of the fact that he did one of the ultimate things you can do in a marriage. But they've survived a lot, finances, kids, all sorts of things, and I just thought maybe it would have been a better look for Lucille had she given it just that one more try. Trust but verify in a kind of sense.
But you can tell it's going to. Oh, go ahead, Tiff.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you could tell that the news of the divorce is affecting the kids, very deeply. Like Terry mentioned to Meech, Nicole's taking it hard. And then, of course, Meech was like, we built our whole organization off of family. We got our idea for this organization based on the bond that our family has and how we look out for each other. Right. So I want to see if there's more fallout from this divorce, unintended consequences that pops up next season.
Or Meech and Terry together could possibly try to bring the two of them back together. Because as you said, Meech is, that's not something I think Meech wants to see. Seems like Terry could acquiesce with it a little better than Meech. I think Meech.
But Terry's closer. He's closer too. You seen when Charles kind of went in there hanging his head, and he was like, the divorce papers are signed, and he was like, I don't have nowhere to go. I think Terry is going to be a big part of helping Charles maybe get back on his feet next season.
Yeah, but I think.
Listen. I definitely think that because, in real life, Charles got indicted and it was because he had gotten involved with the business. So I think in his effort to help Charles get on his feet, Charles is going to get roped up into some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he already saw what Meech is doing and we know he liked that. So he came in and said to Terry, I have nowhere to go.
So, yeah, it seems like it's all tracking if it's, how it went in reality. The other thing I was going to mention is about the women in Terry and Meech's lives, because we seen Terry have a moment with LaWanda. And I was like, hold up, is Tiffany right? Is he going to try to crawl back up to LaWanda now that, Marquisha done ditched him? And, I was proud of LaWanda for standing her ground with Terry and letting him know, like, yes, you can provide all the finances for this house, but I want a career. Like, I don't want to just sit here and be a kept woman. I want to pursue my dreams. And I'm glad that Terry actually came around to seeing things her way. So it didn't look like it was gonna go well at first, but he gave in to her demands. So I was happy about that and proud of LaWanda for standing up for herself.
And I was like, don't take him back. Don't take him back. Because they always go running back to the baby mom.
I was gonna say, you all have said time and time again, don't go back. Don't go back. But he did make a point that, and with what's going on with his family, and I guess he's has a second heart about taking care of his family, and truthfully, that's where he should be. So let's hope that we know the reality of things, but I would like to see some, I would like to see him get back with Wanda. And
I don't, because he has dogged LaWanda. I do not.
Yeah, I would like to see her move on to somebody who's going to be there, and not yo-yoing. And one of the things that we saw, and you said it. You said last week, Ron, what he was going to do. And what did we hear him say? He was on the phone, kept trying to call Markeisha.
In the middle of the Mexican desert.
Even before then, when he was in the car with Sterl, when they were waiting for Henri to go to the drop, he was pretty much begging on her voicemail then too, because she wouldn't take his call. So he,
Right, but I'm like, if a man in the middle of the desert in Mexico and he trying to still call his booty, back home, you gotta know he is whipped.
I digress. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm glad that went the way it did. And on Meech's side, Angel let him know that she was going to be returning to her hometown so she could help young girls out, so that they don't have to go through the struggles that she went through. So I guess she's out the picture. We don't gotta worry about her next season.
Well, not necessarily, because Meech said, "Well, you know where I'm at." And stuff, so she may pop back up, but at least we saw kind of like a redemption arc for her. Like, I know you were like, she's a bird and this and the other, and she did a lot wrong. But I think, to me, she leveled up a little more than Markeisha. I think she up here as opposed to Markeisha, because at least she did tell Meech. She put Meech on game that they were trying to come after him. She did listen to him. She learned from him about the vision board, made her own vision board, and got a plan to kind of get her out the life.
She's showing growth for sure. She's definitely showing growth, but that don't take away from her birdiness sometimes.
Oh yeah,
she's the true bird. But Markeisha, you can't even compare this woman, Markeisha. She had it all, and you were already the second woman in this relationship from jump, and you ruined it for yourself because you felt like you had to take over and make T, try to what's the emasculating. I have no good words for Markeisha. I like you as an actress. I love you as an actress, but this role that.
Yeah, so this definitely isn't the last of Markeisha that we see. So I think this episode overall, it was a good episode. It definitely has some twists and turns. Like I said, the death of Remy, I wasn't expecting that so fast, but I think it wasn't as exciting and like action packed as maybe you wanted it to be, or I wanted it to be. And I think that's the case a lot of times when you're dealing with like people's life stories. Like, you can only embellish but so much, before you stray completely off course. So that's why I think, that's maybe why it didn't, give the bang that you might have wanted from a season finale. But I think it's still a good setup for next season,
right?
Because it raises the stakes. Now we're going to Mexico.
Dangerous,
very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
The cartel. So when you think about antagonists, they're going to be antagonists in Mexico.
They're going to be antagonized. But I think too, when you raise the issue of cliffhangers, we still have a few. So we still just don't know for sure. With Henri. So we have a couple to kind of hang our hats on for next season. So we just don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we already stated that we are putting Dr. Feelgood Maurice on our Who Can Get the Hands list.
Yes.
Do you guys have any other nominees for Who Can Get the Hands?
Henri?
You know,
Well, Henri got the shank.
Henri got the shank.
She got the shank. She got the shank. But I'm like, you know.
Shank. So, you know, if you want to put her on the hands list too, I'm good.
Remy got his, got his payback. So I think he's out of here. That was enough to say he got dealt with.
Congressman Emerson or whatever for snitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
that's
snitching and putting Jen in harm's way and stuff.
That's a good one, yeah. Do you guys have nominees for the game ball now? Or Ron, did you have something you wanted to add before we go to the game ball?
I was only going to say, even though the congressman put Jen in harm's way, Jen put Jen in harm's way with that whole.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and so, but I get it. Yeah,
I'm saying because he was a dirty congressman, and he went back and told Blaze that she was an undercover cop and this and the other, and and so basically he was terrible anyway. So if Kobe had lived and they were trying to put them away, all things would have led to her father. She would have probably ended up having to put her own dad away.
Yeah. So, I guess everything worked out for the best in the end. Now, when we talk about the game ball, who we giving the game ball to?
Wow.
I think T and Meech, because this is showing that they can ready to try to take over the world.
Mm-hmm. And Terry seemed a bit concerned about that take over the world part because Meech was talking about he had half a ton of drugs and split amongst the states or whatever. And he was like, I want to have half a ton in each state. And Terry was like, I don't know about this one, bro.
Like Terry says, we got 5 states and you want all 50 or 48 and 50 states or whatever. I agree with Terry in the pause.
Because I mean, they're gonna make good money based off of the little bit of states that they have taken over, and staying under the radar is key. But when you're talking about expanding nationwide, that's gonna put you on the map, and you're gonna be red hot in the eyes of the law.
You can only be.
Well, they weren't hot until T was talking on the phone. That's how they got busted. So it was on T. It was
right.
It was other than the billboards. The billboards was hot too. They started taunting the cops. So the BMF, the world is ours, billboards that they did in real life and stuff. That made them hot too. But what brought them down was Terry talking on the phone and stuff. So
But like Terry said, you can be stretched but too thin, and so But Meech has a plan and seems to work out. So let's see how far he can go. I do agree with taking pause for a moment and chill out, just enjoy what you have and build mentally, but this Mexico trip is really I can't wait to see what comes of that.
Yeah, but the first Mexico trip that they took last season was something else, so I can only imagine what this one is going to be like. So I'm definitely looking forward to next season, as I think we all are. I think this season was pretty decent. I think we enjoyed a lot of the new characters that were introduced. I think we enjoyed the storyline and the stakes, how things kind of have been set. They're setting the tone for us. So definitely enjoying the work. And, the cast, as always, are performing and delivering each and every episode. So, congratulations on another great season to all involved. And we are looking forward to next season for sure. You guys have anything you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to thank the cast that we spoke to. We had cast interviews with Meech. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ren King, Christopher Duncan that played Blaze, Kelly Hugh, Detective Jen, Morgan Alexandria, Kobe, Heather Zelke, that's the interim showrunner, Jason Lauder. Who else? Oh, Nicole. She's always so wonderful. Nicole Brianna White. She's always so nice. And Layla Pruitt, who plays Nicole. So shout out to all of you and thank you for gracing our platform this season. season.
Absolutely. And speaking of the showrunner, we are definitely, awaiting Randy's return if he's coming back, and praying for him and his health as always. So, it really, they did not drop the ball at all in that handing off of the show running. So that it's always amazing to see like a show that's in good hands when things get passed around. So it's pretty seamless. So congratulations again.
And congrats to Randy on the beautiful baby girl, because the baby girl is playing T's daughter in this episode. I mean, in this season. So that's actually Randy Huggins' daughter. So
that's nice. Fun fact.
Yeah, so that's his daughter. And that episode, Russell Hornsby directed that episode. So shout out for that too.
Yeah, so I think if we don't have anything else to add, we're going to close out. Please make sure you guys drop down in the comment section, give us your thoughts on this finale. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell. Very, very important, because we are about to shift gears and start recapping The Chi, which also returns. So we are super excited to, go into recapping that show. It's picking up where it left off on that cliffhanger last season. So you guys, if you haven't already caught up on The Chi, make sure you binge so that you can start and watch our recaps with us as we do the rest of the season. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are on all major platforms at The Spot Real Talk. Keep up with us there as well, and let us know if you would like to participate in any of our conversations as well.
And I just want
anything else.
We got a nugget for The Chi. That's all I'm going to say. But you definitely want to hit the notification bell and be ready for it, because it's a good one.
It's fire. So please don't miss out on that one.
Yes.
Make sure you are looking at that interviews playlist, because something new is going to pop up in there very soon. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for watching. Make sure you're back here, same time, same place next week, where we start The Chi. And on that note, we can call it a night and see you then. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You out this world, need some space for me. I'm out here, girl. I'm back up in the street, so I don't really got time to fuss and fight no more with you. Really got time to fuss and fight no more. Why you tripping, baby? You know you invited. Acting like you know what's up.